Aeschylus was born in ancient Greece during the 6th and 5th centuries before the Common Era. His plays are the oldest surviving, and some of the most influential and most commendable ever written. Although a discussion of his style and philosophical messages is saved for the conclusion of the series, on this video you may learn about one of the plays that are attributed to him. Aeschylus Agamemnon, Part 1 of 3 of the Oresteia. This is the first part of a tetralogy that nearly completely survived. Only the last part, the sadder drama, is missing. It has ever been regarded among the highest of masterpieces. To understand it or to not be taken aback by it, one must know the myth of the Trojan War. As such, I will be explaining the relevant portions as the story unfolds. The play begins with a herald, standing on top of a tower, beckoning the queen to reveal her newfound knowledge about the capture of Ilium, Troy. A chorus shows up and sings a brief description of the war. They say that 10 years have passed since the war began, which should confirm to the audience that Agamemnon will soon return to his homeland. They also mention how the king sacrificed his own daughter. On this they say that
her supplications and her cries to her father were in vain. Likewise were the child's lamentation to kings passioned for battle.
Let me explain. Before going to Troy, to obtain favorable winds during the voyage, Agamemnon is forced to sacrifice his own child daughter. Clytemnestra, the queen and mother of the child, did not approve. All in the audience would have known that she never forgave Agamemnon. If you do not know this, the subsequent events would be very surprising. If you wish, you may learn more details about this barbaric sacrifice and its consequences from Euripides' plays. The chorus also says,
"Justice tilts her scale so that those only learn who suffer. And the future you shall know when it has come. Before then, forget it."
I would like to express the latter concept as,
the future is always remembered only after it has already happened. Before then, it is simply yet to be forgotten.
The chorus continues,
As it was said of old, may the dawn child be born to be an angel of blessing from the kindly night.
I quote these lines because not only are they proto-aphorisms, but I feel that they subtly foreshadow the plot of the trilogy. The first in events, the second in theme. Clytemnestra enters the scene. It is in fact disputed by experts when exactly she does this. Either way, she says she knows of the fate of the warriors in Troy. The chorus asks her how she knows, and she references a divine message. Then the following exchange establishes her, disputably, commendable character.
Is it dream visions easy to believe you credit?
I accept nothing from a brain that is dull with sleep.
The charm, then, of some rumor that made rich your hope?
Am I some young girl, that you find my thoughts so silly?
In briefer sense, Clytemnestra is not a naive woman. One may argue that she is in fact too astute in the wrong way. Alas, some men would scorn and find her fit for punishment. Long story made short, Clytemnestra knows what happened at Troy. She describes it by the chorus insistence. There is yet another reference to random selection as the soldiers partition the loot by chance. Clytemnestra also references the often forgotten moral message of the myth.
And if they reverence the gods who hold the city and all the holy temples of the captured land, they, the despoilers, might not be despoiled in turn. Let not their passion overwhelm them. Let no lust seize on these men to violate what they must not.
Afterwards, on the same theme, she says,
Such are the thoughts you hear from me, a woman merely. Of all good things to wish this is my dearest choice.
The chorus leader commends her for speaking
Graciously like a prudent man.
This latter point would confuse anyone that does not already know the story. Throughout the play, Clytemnestra acts as a most virtuous, pious, and loving wife. The chorus sings various aphoristic boulders, all of whom are of an ethical essence. So as to not digress, let me merely mention that at one point they reference Paris' abduction of Helen. Of this they say,
She took to Ilium her dowry, death.
You have to keep in mind that the myth is also a moral warning to women. Like this play, I do not know if it argues that women are bad, relative to men, but it certainly warns them about moral folly also. Continuing this line of thought, the chorus reiterates the moral message to men. It not only condemns death for the sake of women, but also,
The gods fail not to note those who have killed many. There among the ciphers there is no more comfort in power, and the vaunt of high glory is bitterness. Let me attain no envied wealth. Let me not plunder cities, neither be captured in turn, and face life in the power of another.
In Homer's epic, Achilles expresses the same ideas. Achilles derides seeking honor or glory, and he complains about war. I know that in modernity many hold the view that it is correct not to teach the Iliad and the Odyssey to children. They believe that those books engender dreams of glory and of violent attitude. It seems to me that whoever argues those things has never actually read the books. Of course, on this channel you may learn about Homer's poems. A herald arrives rejoicing at his return to his homeland and confirming that Agamemnon is soon to follow. This herald is questioned by the chorus leader on his trials and journey. He describes mainly the hardships of ancient sea travel. He does say a rather finished aphorism.
Who, except the gods, can live time through forever without any pain?
That is a nice thought to always keep in mind. Clytemnestra then, once again, proclaims her longing, loyalty, and love for Agamemnon, so convincingly that the herald states,
A vaunt like this, so loaded as it is with truth, it well becomes a high-born lady to proclaim.
The herald then explains that he does not know of the fate of the other heroes. As would have been well known to the audience, all had their problems. To these insinuations the chorus says,
Who is he that named you so fatally in every way? Could it be some mind unseen in divination of your destiny shaping to the lips that name for the bride of spear and blood? Helen, a hell on earth.
I like this translation. The chorus then speaks of Paris. It makes an analogy with raising a lion that once grown devours its adopted parents. The chorus says,
This thing they raised in their house was blessed by God to be priest of destruction.
The subsequent messages of the song are not entirely clear to me. What seems beyond doubt is a metaphoric, allegoric, analogical discourse on the potential betrayal and thirst for power natural to children in relation to their fathers. Perhaps it is no longer common. Then again, perhaps modern psychologists have an agreed upon term for it, and it is more ubiquitous than I imagine. The issue is, do children, boys, naturally wish to overcome their fathers? I could quote much of the passage, alas, a full explanation, analysis, and introspection would require its own treatise. Let me merely quote.
Disasters stamped in the likeness of their fathers, but righteousness still shines out in the smoke of mean houses. Her blessing is on the just man.
So, as some inherit vice, others may inherit goodliness. Riding a chariot, Agamemnon enters with Cassandra beside him. It would have been well known that Cassandra, although she was raped by lesser Ajax as she supplicated in the temple of Athena, was afterwards taken by Agamemnon as part of his loot. Know that Athena, the goddess, is ever angry at those who conquered Troy because they did not punish Ajax. Anyways, the chorus hails or greets Agamemnon, and he in turn mentions various things about his trials and journey. Most memorable is a slight digression of the almost ubiquitous presence or malady of envy. He basically says that of all his friends or companions, the only one that was clear of such vice or a motive infection was Odysseus, who sailed unwillingly. Clytemnestra then, once again, lies convincingly about her love for Agamemnon. She begins by saying that she is not ashamed to proclaim her love even though,
In the lapse of time modesty fades. It is human.
this is something to be inquired upon. Either way, describes her trials as she, allegedly, waited faithfully for her husband. She says,
If you had died each time that rumor told your death, you must have been some triple-bodied Geryon. The rippling springs that were my tears have dried utterly up.
From this I crafted.
Those that have truly suffered, envy those that may still shed tears.
The queen then explains how, in the king's absence, various contenders and traitors have arisen. Therefore, allegedly, for the sake of security, his son, Orestes, is away at the moment. She mentions a series of metaphors to describe her alleged happiness. Consider the lines.
Land seen by sailors after all their hope was gone. splendor of daybreak shining from the night of storm, the running spring a parched wayfarer strays upon.
At the end, she has a servant lay out a red carpet for the king. Agamemnon responds by insisting that he should not be treated as an Asian king. Clytemnestra pretends she cannot avoid adulating him until, together, they enter the palace, exit the scene. The chorus sings a song wherein they basically proclaim a bad feeling, as if something ominous was in the air. They make a mention of Aeschylus, who they claim even brought the dead back to life. Yet, the gods ordained
that fate should stand against fate to check any man's excess.
Clytemnestra then re-enters the scene and directs herself to Cassandra, who has remained sitting on the chariot this entire time. She tells Cassandra to go inside the palace, but the girl of prophetic vision does not move or respond to her commands. Clytemnestra promises her that she will treat her nicely, but still Cassandra does not acknowledge her. In the end, the soon treacherous queen and the chorus agree that Cassandra must be an uncomprehending barbarian. Yet, as soon as the queen exits, and as the chorus pities her, Cassandra begins a lyrical lamentation. She beckons the name of Apollo in agony, and the chorus mentions her prophetic power. More on that soon. They tell her to not fear the house of the Atridae, but she answers with,
"No, but a house that God hates, guilty within of kindred bloodshed, torture of its own, the shambles for men's butchery, the dripping floor."
Exactly what she is referencing will be explained later, but the audience would have known about it beforehand. Cassandra mentions various things to be deciphered as if she were in a trance. The chorus merely replies,
I am not proud in skill to guess at prophecies, yet even I can see the evil in this thing.
Eventually, Cassandra gets back her lucidity and says that she will not prophesize like a
young girl new married glance from under veils.
I like the metaphor. Anyways, by her clear references, she convinces the chorus that she knows the future, though this is not yet explained. Again, the audience would have known it. The chorus stands amazed, and she explains her personal history. She describes how, despite the fact that the god blessed her with the gift of prophetic vision, she nonetheless lied and rejected Apollo's amorous proposal. Thus, in retribution for unrequited love, Apollo cursed her so that none would ever believe her power. None would ever believe her knowledge of the future. Most consequential is the fact that she foresaw the treachery behind the large wooden horse. I should mention, she is one of Priam's daughters, the now dead king of Troy. Cassandra then reveals Clytemnestra's true intentions. She says of her,
What can I call her and be right? What beast of loathing, viper double-fanged, or siller which hold in the rocks and bane of men that range the sea, smouldering mother of death to breathe relentless hate on those most dear. This is the woman lioness, who goes to bed with the wolf, when her proud lion ranges far away. As a wife mixing drugs she wills to shred the virtue of my punishment into her bowl of wrath as she makes sharp the blade against her man.
I feel obliged to admit, in the previous play I mocked the chorus for enjoying a misery drama. Yet, alas, I feel a bit of that pleasure myself with this story. It is not hard to wonder why people liked it. Of course, every person would view it from their own personal angle. In the end, Cassandra also announces that her and Agamemnon's death will be avenged by Clytemnestra's own child. Lamenting her fate, Cassandra goes into the palace, and soon enough Agamemnon's cries are heard from within. The chorus debates as to what to do, whether they should go in right away or gather the citizens before storming the place. Before they make up their mind, the doors open and Clytemnestra is revealed holding a dagger as she stands over the bloody, dead bodies of Cassandra and Agamemnon. The latter begins explaining herself with,
Much have I said before to serve necessity, but I will feel no shame now to unsay it all. How else could I, arming hate against hateful men disguised in seeming tenderness, fence high the nets of ruin beyond overleaping?
I must say, there is an aphorism buried within this asseveration. In the end, the queen says she is happy with what she has done. She considers it glory. The chorus stands in disbelief and chastises her as arrogant. She defends herself, claiming that she is not a mere vain woman with a fluttered heart. She goes on to justify herself by reference to her daughter's execution. As for killing Cassandra, she says killing his husband's lover adds spice to her delight. LOL. What ensues is a song between her and the chorus wherein the most memorable mentions are that of Zeus as the prime mover.
For what thing without Zeus is done among mortals?
Her following lines yielded.
Not even your own children shall drop honest tears on top of your grave.
Then enters Aegisthus, Agamemnon's cousin. The audience would have known his role in this myth, but he explains it anyways. First, he rejoices at Clytemnestra's deed with things such as,
Now I can say once more that the high gods look down on mortal crimes to at last vindicate the right.
Let me explain. Agamemnon and Aegisthus were cousins. Their fathers, Atreus and Thyestes respectively, had fought over the throne of Mycenae. Long story made short, Atreus killed some of Thyestes' children and secretly served them in a meal to the father. You can imagine why Aegisthus considers Agamemnon's murder justified. By the way, if you did not know, the Trojan War is a story of barbarity. Its moral lessons were never meant as characters to emulate. The chorus condemns Aegisthus and Clytemnestra and threatens them with the people's vengeance, as these would not allow the reign of a couple of tyrants, undeserving rulers. Oh yeah, Thyestes and Clytemnestra are not only lovers but in cooperation. Aegisthus tells the chorus,
You are old men, well, you shall learn how hard it is, at your age, to be taught how to behave yourselves, but there are chains, there is starvation with its pain, excellent teachers of good manners to old men, wise surgeons, and exemplars.
If Aristophanes' jokes about violent younglings is a sign of moral precepts, this makes Aegisthus into a very bad person. Anyways, a brawl is on the verge of ensuing, but Clytemnestra calms the tensions, imploring no more violence. The chorus references Orestes, Agamemnon's son, future revenge, and the play ends with the following, in my opinion, jocular exchange.
Crow and strut, brave cockerel by your hen. You have no threats to fear.
Do not heed their empty yapping. Come now, dearest, you and I have the power. We too shall bring good order to our house at least.
Remember, this is only the first part of a trilogy. Make sure to watch the next video if you want to see what happens next. On this channel, you may watch videos outlining all of Aeschylus' plays. That includes the plays of eternal renown such as The Suppliant Maidens or Prometheus Bound. Now, to pique your curiosity, to motivate you to watch the last video of the series, I gift you a teaser sample of one of the many aphorisms I crafted as I read this author.
People are timid in the morning, daring in the midday, regretful in the afternoon, and acceptant at nightfall. No doubt it is the sophist or scientists, not the philosophers, who are the wise, as even life or God itself charges a cost for all its lessons.
If you enjoy or gain from my aphorisms, know that I have thousands. I will be writing books with short thematic essays composed out of aphorisms. These essays are profound and intriguing yet easy to read. For very cheap copies, look up Protagoras Pause in the Amazon website. I repeat, Protagoras Pause, that's my name.